Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller, and I have been doing so well with saying no to myself. I love goals. Okay. I love setting goals for myself. And sometimes when a goal is hard for you, you might struggle with the actual saying no part. And this past month, we're at the end. Okay. We're at the end. And so I'm just looking at my goals from this month. I did a big push in the beginning of July. I was like, okay, next 6 months, what do I want it to look like? And this was a trial run of those goals. And I have had to say no to myself. It's easier and harder than you think, right? When you're compiling your goals, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And you have this framework, you have this plan, but it seems easy when you're writing it down. It's hard when you are faced with the choice of, okay, can I, focus on my goals and do what I'm supposed to do? Or is it going to be easier to slip into my comfort zone, to do what I've always done and not worry about the consequences? And I've been saying no. And I'm really proud of myself because some of the things are not the easiest to say no to. It's kind of the things that I don't want to say no to that are providing the most difficult, right? Obviously, duh. But today, okay, so I spent most of my day in town. I had my book club, which was so fun. We read Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult. I thought it was so fun to meet with the girls and just talk and chat. And I then had a yoga class I was teaching later that afternoon. Well, I'm not going to drive back and forth from Leawood to my home. So I decided I was just going to stay. I was going to sit. I had a to-do list and I wrote it all out. Then, a couple hours passed. It's time to teach my class and it went well, right? It was a good class. And on my way home, I decided, I was like, okay, what's Garrett doing? I'm going to check in with him. And I had given him a text before I left. He didn't text me back. I knew he had a meeting. So I didn't know if he was driving home, if he was still at his meeting, or what the game plan was for the evening. So I gave him a call and he was in his meeting still. Luckily, it's just one of his volunteer efforts. So it's fine that he answered my call. But I was like, hey, I'm driving home. What's your game plan? And he's like, we still have about an hour to go. And then afterwards, we're going to meet for supper. I was like, okay, so I am on my own for my evening meal, which is totally fine. The only thing is I didn't prepare anything before I left that morning. And Garrett did say, he was like, I have some pork chops that have defrosted. You definitely can use those if you want. However, I don't want to cook pork chops that he's defrosted just for myself, right? Yes, we would eat leftovers tomorrow, but I would rather save the pork chops for Monday night when we can enjoy a meal together instead of me cooking it and then him, getting leftovers. Because personally, I can find a meal. But I was so tired. I was like, oh my gosh, it has been the longest day. Not that I don't love, stacking my events. I want to make the best use of my time. If I'm going to town, I might as well pick up yoga class or do things on my list. And I was super, super productive. And I love that. But I didn't stop for lunch and I just had a later breakfast at the coffee shop and I was starving. By the time I got done with my yoga class, I was like, I am ravenous. So when I called Garrett, I was hoping that he was at home and our meal was completed. But when I called him, he ended up, he's going to dinner with his meeting group. So I was like, okay, I am going to have to go home and I'm going to cook a meal for myself. And that did not seem fun. I'm kind of tired and also just fatigued. I'm withering away, no meal, no lunch. Anyways, so I thought to myself, you know what, like I could drive to the town right next to our home, the town over, and I could pick up something to go. I had it in my head. I was like, Chipotle sounds good, but honestly, I would be good with anything that was quick and easy. A BLT from Jimmy John's sounded really good. And I don't really eat out that often. It has to be for a specific reason, whether like we're traveling or there's nothing else. It's like special occasion, right? We're focused on our budget, focused on our nutrition, and trying to do a good job. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, like it'll be so easy. I'll just stop by, pick up my supper, and then I can be more productive this evening. I almost gave in. I was like, I want to so bad. I'm so hungry. And I should have packed a lunch. Okay, like preventative planning, should have packed a lunch, should have stopped for lunch, whatever. But now it is 6 o'clock and I am hungry. So when I was making the decision to either keep going or turn on our road, I ended up, oh, by the way, did I mention we have no groceries in the house? No groceries at all. And Garrett is gone, going out to supper with himself. And I really want to cave. I really, really want to go back on my goals and say, you know what? Like my goal was to eat a meal every single night, avoid eating out, to save in a lot different things for our budget, right? Oh my gosh, I almost gave in. It was so hard. And I took a turn. I said, we are going home. I don't know what we're going to make, but we're going to make something and we're going to make it work. So I had, this is disgusting. It's fine. But it's like one of those meals that aren't like, it's not pretty. I had a whole big jumbo can of tuna, but we didn't have any fresh lemons. So I had lemon pepper and regular pepper cracked all over that because it needs to be heavily seasoned. And then we had leftover rice because I'm craving this Chipotle bowl. And I'm like, okay, we have leftover rice. I will make fried rice and I'll crack 2 eggs in it. Then I have my carb for my brain. I have my protein for my body. I was like, this sounds good. This sounds amazing. And I cooked it. And you know what? It was not as good as I would have liked, right? Like I could have gone out. I could have, picked something else up. But I didn't. I stuck to my goals. I had a very sad can of tuna. Luckily, I didn't eat it in the can. I cracked it out. I put it in a bowl. Okay. But it was this whole mindset shift of I told myself that I'm going to make a meal every single night. We already ate out a couple times. My parents were in town. So I went out to eat with them Friday and Saturday night. I need to be cooking at home. And the reason we have no groceries is because I've been utilizing the things that we have instead of just like going down the shopping aisles thinking, oh, this sounds good. This sounds good. I've been trying to have a plan. I've been implementing like days. So, okay, what are we planning to have on Monday? What are we planning to have on Tuesday, Wednesday, etc.? When are we going to eat the leftovers from a different day? And then when I go grocery shopping, I get only those ingredients because I'm trying to prevent waste. Okay. I'm trying to make sure we're budgeting correctly, saving our money for other things that are more exciting that I would rather spend my money on, right? Like I'm going to forget about this Chipotle bowl that I might have devoured tonight, but instead I was like, I had my tuna. Was it like as good? No, but guess what? I stuck to my goals. I'm doing the good things. I'm doing the work. It's really, really hard, but I'm happy with myself. I did what I said I was going to do. The next little update of my goals is I went for a walk 6 days out of 7 this week. And I was really proud of that too, because walking, right? It takes so much time and energy, but going for a walk is so good for your mindset and getting out of the house, especially because I work all day, inside on my computer. I felt like my contacts this month have just been extra. I don't know. I've been trying to rinse them out, but I feel like they're old, but they're not old. Like July just seems like a very long month, and I keep waiting and counting down the days to like swap out my contacts. And I figured that it's actually not my contacts, that I'm not drinking enough water and I'm staring at a screen for too long. So I was like, going outside is going to help that. I lost my AirPods again. Oh, this is so frustrating. My dad, he's so sweet. He bought me AirPods for Christmas because I lost not one, but 2 AirPod sets. So this is my third set. But the only thing is this is like the generation 2 ones, and I actually don't like them as much. I don't like the silicone earpiece, and I also don't like the noise canceling part. They're not my originals. Okay. And maybe it's because I'm so used to the generation 1s, but I like them better. And so I told Garrett, like, hey, no, before I found my AirPods that I thought that I lost in my vehicle, and I had them for like 2 weeks, and then I cannot find them again. So when I first found my AirPods, I was like, perfect, Garrett, like you can borrow my new ones. Like you utilize them because I'm not going to use them. I found my AirPods. I'm amazing. I'm cool. So he's been using my, ones I got for Christmas, the newest version or whatever. And I don't have my AirPods. So I've gotten in this mindset of, okay, like if I go for a walk, I'm not going to be able to listen to anything. I'm going to be bored. Although it's very good to like listen to nature and also not have anything to entertain your brain, right? I had book club this month, so I need to finish my book, and Audible, or not Audible, I've actually been using Spotify to listen because it comes with my premium membership, and I found my corded headphones. So I used my corded headphones with my my cell phone instead of AirPods. And you know what? I liked it. I did. While I was getting ready though, I had my phone on the counter, and I pulled out a drawer, and somehow the like earphones got like connected because they're the corded ones. And I yanked them out of my ears, and I was like, that's why they're annoying. I forgot about that part. But honestly, I stuck to my goal, went for a walk. It would have been better if I would have hit 10K steps. But you know what? We're going to start small. We're going to start manageable and do the things that we can actually do instead of like overwhelming ourselves with goals. But I've been saying no, and I'm really happy about that. The only thing, I did get a commercial coffee today, and I don't really like commercial coffee all that often, but we met at a coffee shop for the book club meetup, and I got this, like, it's actually called Golden Hour. It's the spot we stopped at is called Out of the Blue. It's in Leawood, Kansas. I'm not sure if they have other locations, but their special called Golden Hour is like, how perfect. I needed to work on podcast stuff anyways, so I got that. It was so good. It was like orangey and amazing. But then once book club left, I still had like 3 hours that I need to like work on my computer. So I ordered a second drink, and I got an Italian soda, and because I couldn't have another coffee. I had a coffee at home, then I had a coffee there, and I was like, I cannot have another coffee. But whenever I stay at a coffee shop for like extended period of time, I feel like I need to purchase something. I always tip well. My favorite spot to be is at a coffee shop where I can just relax and get some work done, and it's focused work because I can't be watching something or listening necessarily when I'm at a coffee shop. And I bought 2 drinks, and ultimately I spent $25 on coffee, 2 protein balls, not bars, and an Italian soda. And I was like, oh my gosh, $25? Like, okay, cool. It was $25. And I was thinking that's not my goal. And so that even spurred my decision to like eat at home even more. Nothing hits quite the same when you realize your parents were right. Whenever we would go to like an event or do something, and we'd ask like to stop on the way home. Oh my gosh, can we run through the drive-through? Let's get fries. Let's get ice cream, all the things. And your parents would ultimately tell you like, sorry, we have food at home. Yeah, I know we have food at home, but I don't want the food at home. That was me today. Did not want the food from home. But yeah, I spent $25 at a commercial coffee spot when I have spent over $45 for 3 bags of beans. And then Garrett actually went and picked up 2 more bags of beans. I need to figure out if I can store them in the freezer or not, because there is no way we are going to grind and drink not 3, 4, 5 bags of beans. That's insane. That's a lot of coffee beans. So I got to see if I can store them in the freezer or something to preserve them, maybe in a plastic bag. I don't know. I got to figure that out because right now we have coffee coming out of our ears and I have all this coffee sitting at home, and yet I got a coffee at the coffee stop. So that wasn't on my goals, but ebb and flow, man. Ebb and flow. So let's get in my peak and my pit of the week. My peak of the week. Oh my gosh. So my sister-in-law asked me to be a bridesmaid in her wedding. And I'm so grateful, so happy. And I feel really honored, to be honest, because she didn't have to ask me. Nobody has to ask you to be in their wedding ever. And so it always makes it just a little bit special when you feel like you are an important fixture in their life, right? Like anybody, all of my best friends, all the things. So when she asked me, I was like, yes, absolutely. Now, my sister-in-law and her fiance are getting married this December. It's going to be Christmas in Chicago. I'm so excited. I love Chicago. We spent Christmas in Chicago 2 years ago. The funnest time ever. Okay. Chicago is just so beautiful and it's cold. Like it's really cold. Sometimes Missouri doesn't get as cold, and I grew up in Northeast Iowa. So I love cold winters. I like it when there's snow. I like it when it is okay to stay inside and watch movies because you literally cannot go anywhere. So it's going to be Christmas in Chicago. Eloquent, beautiful, stunning, gorgeous, immaculate, right? It's going to be in a church. It's going to be beautiful, decorated for Christmas, all the things. I'm so excited. But we have to order our bridesmaids dresses like immediately. Like, let's get snappy. Let's get them placed. So I needed to go try on bridesmaids dresses this past week. It was really nice. The store, or the chain, I guess, of what she picked is called Bella Bridesmaids, and their main office is in Chicago. So she went down, she picked out like a handful of the dresses that she approved, right? Rightfully so, it's her wedding. And she gave us a lot of freedom. She allowed us to pick any style of dress that we wanted, and we could also determine, or like, depending on the dress that we picked, we could also select what texture we wanted. So she asked six bridesmaids. 2 of them would be in satin, 2 of them in velvet, and 2 of them in a burnout dress design. If you haven't heard of the burnout, it's like where it's kind of velvety and then like mesh almost. Maybe I'm not describing this right, but it's in a floral pattern essentially on the dress. Really, really lovely. But those are the 3 options. So I knew this weekend I was going to be absolutely swamped. My mom and stepdad were in town. My little sister was in town. My brother was in town. Like, we had a lot of things to do. I had a Golden Gal Network event that I was doing as well. So I knew that I was not going to have the time allotted. So I needed to go during the week. I logged on, I reviewed the dresses, right? She picked like 20 dresses that we could choose from. That is way kinder than what I did for my bridesmaids. My bridesmaids all had the same damn dress, and it was all the same color and all the same texture. I am too particular and annoying. So I don't know. That's what I did. I'm so sorry, bridesmaids. But she let us have a lot of creative direction. So I reviewed the dresses, and I needed to book an appointment to try on the dresses. And the thing is, the place that she picked had a location right there in Leawood, Kansas. So I was like, hell yeah, like I'm going to get my dress tried on. I do like ordering bridesmaids dresses online. Don't get me wrong. I love that. I think it's great. And I think it is accessible for everyone. For my wedding, I had 2 sisters in Iowa, a sister in Alabama, and, you know, I had a friend and 2 friends in Iowa, you know, like all the things. People in Missouri, everybody needs to order. And so we used, oh my gosh, I want to say it was like one of the very typical bridesmaid dresses shops online. It wasn't David's Bridal, but it was something similar. One thing about that, though, is you don't get to try them on. you just have to guess and you send in your measurements. I measured myself. So I measured myself. I said, pray, hope that this works. Last year I had Adriana's wedding and Andrew's wedding that I was in. So I needed dresses for that. And that was stressful. I was hoping that the dress fit. And with Adriana's, like, I don't know what happened, but like we were cutting it close for our dresses. Me specifically. I think my dress came 3 weeks before the wedding, which is not ideal. Like you would hope that the dress would come a little bit sooner so you could try it. You could get alterations if you wanted. Luckily, the girl who did alterations for my wedding dress was able to do alterations not only for Adriana's, but also for Andrew's. So luckily, I have a little seamstress woman that will alter it for me. But yeah, we had to place our orders this week. So I went into the dress dress store. I keep saying stop like it's a gas station. That's not what I mean. Anyways, so I went to the Bella Bridesmaids. It was really, really sweet. It was amazing. They had a room for me. They had all the dresses lined up. They had all the textures in there. They had the dresses that I selected. They had different sizes. And I was able to like try on and see what worked best for my body. And I don't know what was happening, but I was like feeling so good. Everything looked good on me. It might have been blind confidence. Okay. And maybe it was. But usually when you go dress shopping, you feel kind of like shit. You're like, oh, like I don't feel very good about my body, or, you know, nothing's fitting right, or maybe you're bloated, right? Like you don't necessarily feel like amazing all the times that you go shopping. Understandable. Okay. Understandable. Not everybody loves shopping or trying on outfits. Okay. It's not the funnest thing in the world. I don't get me wrong. I don't know why. I don't know what area of my cycle I'm on currently, but whatever cycle is feeling really good and feeling confident, like my body wasn't bloated. I looked so good. Maybe it was a selection of dresses, but when I was trying those on, it actually was kind of hard for me to pick a dress because I was like, I look amazing in all of these. And I had to remember myself. I was like, okay, it's going to be Christmas. It's after Thanksgiving. There's going to be tons of snacks. You're staying in. Okay. You might be bloated. Traveling also causes bloat. So I'm thinking, okay, you don't want to be bloated. Pretend, you feel the worst. And I ended up picking this really lovely dress. It has like thicker straps because your girl's kind of got a bigger chest. So I want to make sure it's as minimized as possible. It is in a traditional church, if you will. So I picked out my dress. It's in velvet. It's so cute. And they actually had my size there. So I was able to try on the dress that would be my exact size. Unfortunately, it was in blue at the store, but the colors are emerald. And baby, I look great in emerald. Green is one of my favorite colors. Not only that, I'm born in the month of May and my birthstone is emerald. So loved it. Packed up the dress. A couple days later, I get my little bridesmaid's gift in the mail. Lovely. My sister-in-law, so sweet. So it had a little bottle of champagne in it. It came in like a makeup case and it had the letter L on it. So cute. And it also had 2 candy canes because Christmas. What? A scrunchie. That was what I was trying to think of. It had a velvet green scrunchie that feels the exact same that my dress did. And then the big surprise, there's an Alex and Ani bracelet in there in emerald. And I was like, how cute. Like, not only am I going to be able to wear this during her wedding, but it's my birthstone. Like, how I know it's not about me. Okay. I know it's not about me, but some part of me is like, wow, I love emerald. Like, it's the perfect color. It's Christmas. I'm really excited. Okay. The next 5 months I'm not going to say I don't want them to go faster. I really don't. Like, take it slow it down. Enjoy the end of summer. Enjoy fall. But when Christmas comes, I am ready, baby. I had so much fun last year doing Christmas. I did Vlogmas for the first time. I really enjoyed the Christmas season last year. And I know this season is going to look a little different than last season. And that's okay. But I feel like this season is even better. Like, I'm even more excited for all of the things because it's going to be magical. It's Chicago. I don't know. Like, I'm really excited. It was my peak. Okay. It was the highest of highs. I looked great in my dress. I got it ordered and I got the sweetest little bridesmaid's gift. So 10 out of 10. I'm so happy. I'm feeling blessed beyond. Okay. My pitch of the week. Okay. So I had a Golden Gal Network event. This is my Kansas City social club. And we meet 2 to 3 times a month. Last weekend we did Powell Gardens. Loved it. Okay. Butterfly garden, top notch. It was so much fun. The weather was a little it rained a little bit, but we had no problem walking outside. And I should have known. Okay. It is so hard to plan outdoor events, especially when you cannot control the weather or other things. And this Saturday, I had an event planned. We were doing movie on the lawn. I was excited. Okay. I packed blankets. I had snacks. I had my Olipop and my Spindrift, the things that I love to sip on. I packed that in the car and I was feeling really happy. Now, I had already drove to town to teach my yoga class, and then I drove back home because I didn't want to stay in the city on Saturday. I needed to come home. Again, my parents were in town. I visited with them, and I needed some downtime to get my life together. I was hoping to be productive, but I ended up just getting a little bit of a headache and laying on my bed and rotting for multiple hours. But that's okay. You need the ebb and the flow. So by the time, the event is rolling around, I need to get up. I need to get ready to make the drive over there. I pack everything. I get in my vehicle. It is sunshiny, by the way. The sun is out. It looks beautiful outside. And I'm really happy. Okay. I'm happy with where it's going. And the more I drive, I hit the next town. It's 30 minutes away. I hit that town. It's wet. Okay. It's not currently raining and the sun is out, but it's wet. And I was like, oh gosh, is it raining? Because I knew in the forecast there could be potentially some rain, but I thought that they took it out. And so I make my way even farther. I make it to Leawood and still no rain. It's not raining, but it is damp. Had a couple girls message. I had out of the group, half of them had already canceled. They couldn't make it. And then the other half who was coming, I started getting texts about oh, are we canceling it? I got a call, and I started kind of second guess myself if it was a good idea to try it because it's a movie on the lawn. It's outside. It's in the grass. And I ended up, it was canceled. The movie, when it rains, they don't have the screen out. It was an outdoor movie. I didn't put it on. It was an event that we were going to go to as a group. I was so sad. I was really sad, one, because I haven't had to cancel an event yet. And this one was outside of my control. I could not control the weather. I was really bummed. I put it in the group chat. I said, I'm so sorry. I'll refund everyone. And hopefully I'll see you soon. So going from a high of, oh, this is going to be so much fun, I'm excited to see my girls, to I have to cancel, was really bummy. And I also felt I wasted the fuel. I wish I would have known that it was going to be canceled before, but I can't control that, right? I cannot control how it transpired, but because I essentially drove for nothing, I talked about this last week. I hate driving with no intention. I hate feeling I've wasted my time. And I also don't like letting other people down. And I felt I sent the group chat. I'm I'm sorry guys, it's canceled. I'll refund you. 10 minutes go by and one of the girls sent them a message. She's like, hey, I'm still down to get something to eat. I've drove out here 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. I was I've already turned around. At that time, I was already on the other side and I was just kind of in a bad, grumpy mood. And I was I'm so sorry. I ended up Venmoing her. I was here's $10. Plus I'll still refund everyone too. But I was here's $10 for driving out there. Buy yourself a drink. Cause I texted her separately. I said, shoot, I'm so sorry. If I would have known that you were going to stop and hang out, I would have hung out with you. I was almost there. Essentially I drove an hour. there, and I had to turn right back around. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And then I Venmoed her and I was like, buy a drink on me. I hope that, cause she said that she was going to walk her out and she hadn't been around that area before. And so she was just going to like take it in stride. That's so nice of her. Like, what an upbeat individual. Like, she's just like, yeah, this is great. This is amazing. No, I was bummed out. I was really sad, to be honest, because I had the intention. I wanted it to work. I hate canceling anything. And I feel like I'm very good on my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I will do it. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that the Golden Hour Drip podcast has a monthly newsletter. You'll find podcast updates, upcoming events and information, and bonus content. If you haven't already, click the link in the show notes and join today. Now, back to the show. But unfortunately, this was something that I couldn't control. And as I was driving home and I was feeling kind of like just bummed out, to be honest, I was thinking, I cannot control what happened. I can only control myself. I can only control my reaction to it. And I can be sad that I didn't get to meet with my friends. Or I can be happy that my evening is now kind of opened up. And I did drive an hour there and an hour back home, but my mom was in town. And so I texted her, I said, hey, like, what are you doing? And my little sister and my stepdad were hanging out, with, my grandma on that side. And she's like, yeah, your dad and Lily are hanging out over there, but I had to work. Like, she was working on her computer. And when I got home, I was watering my zinnias and my pumpkins. Oh my gosh, that's a side story. Okay, my pumpkins, I planted pumpkins this past week. I'm so proud of them. And one of the packets have sprouted. The other packet has not sprouted yet, but I'm still holding out for them to sprout, especially with all of this rain we're getting. I hope to have pumpkins by October. I'm so happy. But I'm watering my pumpkins. I'm watering my zinnias. I'm watering my side plants. And I called her. I was like, hey, I was so sad, but I was trying to be upbeat, right? And I said, hey, my event, I had to cancel it. I'm actually going to be I'm going to be home this evening. It's really, really hard for me to not want to hang out with my family when they're in town. I will do everything in my power to make time for the people that I love, no matter what's on my schedule. No matter, like, I was so busy this weekend with events after another. But I made sure that I got to see my parents, and I was like, I will come see you. I stayed up super late Friday night. After, Thursday, I went out to get sushi with some of my friends. So I stayed out late on Thursday, didn't get home until later. Friday night, I stayed up with my parents. We went out to eat. I was already exhausted after a work day. Saturday, I, had my event canceled. So I was like, all right, here's also the kicker. I had a second coffee on Saturday, and I don't have 2 coffees in a day because then I stay up. So I was feeling energized at this time, like sad, but energized. And, so I said, well, I'm not doing anything. You're in town. I want to do something with you if you can. If you're busy, or if you made plans with my aunt or anyone, like, can I keep on to those plans? Can I be there? And she's like, oh, what's Garrett doing? And I said, Garrett is hungry. Okay. I had gotten home and he was like, I'm starving, man. Perfect. Fine. Amazing. And, she's like, do you want to get sushi? I was like, sushi twice in a week? Hell yeah. Like, I love sushi. So we packed up. We met my mom for sushi, and we ended up seeing one of Garrett's childhood besties and his expecting wife. So excited for them. We got to, say hello to them. We had a really good conversation with my mom. And we spent hours just like reminiscing about life when I was little and life before me, and this community and things. And so that was really, really good for my soul. And then afterwards we hung out in the parking lot just outside of the hotel and telling stories and talking. And it was really fun for it to just be Garrett, me, and my mom. And then, my dad and Lily came and we talked some more. I got home and I still was not tired. So I worked on my computer a bit into the night, but sometimes like it's not about what happens to you. It's about how you react to it. And I could have went home and I could have been so sad and been like, my plans were ruined. The weather was not cooperative. I felt like I let down people because the event had to be canceled. Or, I could make the best of it. I could still hold on to happiness and I could try and still have like a nice evening. And I did. And it was very memorable. And I will hold on to that for forever, right? Like getting to spend time one-on-one or one-on-two. Garrett was a +1, right? But it was good. It was so good for me. And on the bright side, the Golden Gal Network is meeting this past week. I created a meetup for a Kansas City Chiefs pregame or preseason game. I'm so excited. So I have 20 of us going to the Bears versus Chiefs. And honestly, I couldn't be happier. So that also like made Saturday like even a lower low because I was like, I sold out within 53 minutes. I sold out my tickets in 53 minutes. That is a record for me. I sold out so fast. It was so fun. And we're swapping ideas for like what we're going to wear to have all of this excitement. And then last Saturday, having such a good event for Powell Gardens and then being like hit with this like Saturday not going as well. You got to take it as it comes. I personally, now, I was a football manager in high school, right? Take that as you will. But I know the generic of the game, okay? I know some rules, not all rules. But personally, I love to be in the environment. I love the social aspects of games. And having a social club, I was thinking, what better way to celebrate being a Chiefs fan than to have a Golden Gal meetup? So we're all hanging out and I'm really excited. We're going to tailgate. I got to figure out, I need to find like a grill or something because hot dogs and, chips, honestly, I love chips and mustard on my hot dog and hanging out. It is a Thursday game, which is unfortunate because I have to work on Friday, obviously. But sometimes you have to do things that are good for you and not necessarily good for your like goals. And I know I started this podcast saying no is important. I think you should say no and stick to your goals like 80 to 90% of the time. And then that 10%, that's when you can like act out. That's when you can like throw caution to the wind and do what feels good to you. So, and I say that, but it's still pre-planned fun, right? Like I'm going to have a football game on Thursday and then Friday I'll have to go into work. Maybe I'll go into work late. That's fine, as long as I get it pre-approved. And speaking, I got this sent so many times. So my cousin Ian, he's been gone for 2 years, but he is a huge Bengals fan. And I like the Bengals because that was his favorite team. And so whenever the Bengals play, sometimes against the Chiefs, I cheer for the Chiefs first, but if the Bengals win, I'm okay with it because Ian loved the Bengals. So the Bengals, Joe, he's the quarterback for the Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals, and he cut and chopped his hair. It is bleach blonde. Oh my gosh, I had so many people send this to me because I think he's a cutie. Okay, he's a cute guy. I miss his brown hair so much. He looks like a younger Eminem, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like why would he cut his beautiful hair to be bleach blonde? Also, think of how iconic Eminem is to have like a bleach hair, like buzz cut bleached hair. And for someone to do this, like in 2024 and be compared to Eminem, like the fact that he has such an iconic look during that time for it to be recreated, that's how you know, like, Eminem's a big deal. And I know that he just dropped his like new album and all the things. I have no words or nothing to say about that. But the fact that like Joe Burrows shaved his head, you know, has no hair anymore, it's a bleach blonde. And the first thing I thought, and first thing that multiple people thought, is, oh my gosh, like he looks like Eminem. He looks like that era. And how iconic is that to be? So I am looking forward to the football season. I'm looking forward to being with my friends and just being social. And welcoming fall when it comes. It is the end of August that this game is, and I feel like football season kind of like kicks off fall. Even though last year I did say that summer is not ending until September. That was the mindset I was in last year. But I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to it. All this back to school stuff is getting me in the mood. Like, oh, like we can celebrate all the other things of school year and pencils and you know, just waiting for that. I guess I just like new beginnings. I like new beginnings in Mondays. I like new beginnings in the first of a month. I love new beginnings of like second quarter of the year or third quarter, fourth quarter. Like I like new beginnings. So August and like the start of school kind of feels like a new beginning. July felt like a new beginning because it was the second half of the year. New Year's Eve feels like a new beginning. Everything, it's a mindset of like new beginnings. How many times can I say new beginning? But it's like, okay, a reset. And I love a reset. And I feel like school is like that. It's encouraging a new year, a new era. And kind of be more happy to still enjoy summer and move on to August. So I've been spending a lot of my time not being on my phone and not being on social media, trying not to consume as much. But I really do want to go see the new Twisters movie. And last weekend we were supposed to go see it. And then this weekend we thought maybe we would see it on Sunday. Brody's been wanting to see it. But we haven't got a chance to actually make it to the movies. But I am in my movie era. Okay. I have been loving going to the movies. The last movie I saw was an Inside Out 2, and I did a whole podcast about that. But to me, like taking the time to go to the movies and like make a whole event out of it, I feel like so much now, everything is at my fingertips, right? Like I could go on YouTube and I could watch a vlog. If you like to watch vlogs, go watch my vlog, Logan Lee Miller. Or I could go on Netflix or Hulu or Paramount or Peacock, right? Like Olympics. And it loses the specialness of it. It loses the novelty of being able to watch a film. And I feel like it's an overconsumption of one thing after another, right? Like seasons or episodes. A new season drops, we need to binge the entire thing. Or you have all of the movies at your fingertips. Now, I will say when they're in theaters, like you have to wait a little bit. But Twisters, like if I wanted to see Twisters 1, I could log on to Amazon or log on to Netflix. I forget which one is streaming with it right now. But I could log on, I could find Twisters, and I could watch it from the comfort of my own home. And while I love an in-home movie theater and movie experience and love staying in, and there's something so special about packing a bag. I always pack a blanket. Okay, I love packing a blanket. Love packing my little Stanley cup of water. Growing up, my mom, Stanleys weren't like a big thing, but my mom always had a water cup. Like she's always had a water cup ever since I was little. She was a teacher. She always had water And her water always tasted way better than my water. I don't know what it is, but as a kid, her water was ice cold. It was so good. She also had these bottles of water in the fridge. They were refillable. They were glass bottles. And she put like essential oils in them, like lemon. Maybe it wasn't essential oils. It was oils, actually. And those waters tasted the best. Whenever I came home from school or an event late at night, I would chug those when no one was watching. I would chug the entire glass and fill it up with other water and put it back in the fridge. Sorry, Steph. But just like she's always had a water cup. So I always bring like a water cup to the movie theater. It used to embarrass me when she was like, go run into the lobby and like fill my cup up with water. Okay, I don't know if that is actually illegal or not, frowned upon or whatever. But she always had me take her little cup into the lobby, fill it up with ice and water, and like run back into the movie theater. So I always take my water. But it's like an event, right? Like you're going, you're having snacks, maybe if it's in the budget, you're having popcorn. And I feel like it's better. It's better at the movie theater. I get in a bad habit of whenever something is like playing on the TV, I might pause it and fold the load of clothes that just got done, or do dishes, or take the dogs out. Like there's so many distractions at home. And I feel like if I'm going to watch something, if I'm going to be totally immersed in it, if I'm going to go see Twisters, I want to see it in theaters. I want to be able to experience the tornadoes rip across the screen. I don't want to just like get so caught up in the mundane of life and be like, oh, the dog's got to go out, or they want to play with their ball, or my phone's right there, so I'm going to pull out my phone and I'm going to text, or the laundry just got done, it's dinging, I better go fold it quick and pause it, right? No, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be immersive, and I'm going to enjoy every single moment of it. I'm pretty sure the new Deadpool also came out. I am seeing so much about the like Wolverine cup. And personally, I like Wolverine because my name is Logan and Wolverine's name is also Logan. But I have been seeing these Deadpool, like, not comical. I cannot think of the exact word about them, but it's novelty. That's what it's called. A novelty popcorn bucket. And I throw out all sorts of clutter. I don't like taking the novelty cups from the state fair or from, restaurant or anything. Garrett this is horrible. This past week, he went to Slim Chickens. He has never been to Slim Chickens before, but him and his friend were shopping in town. There's a Slim Chickens close by. He went to the Slim Chickens. He got a dessert that was served in a mason jar, and he thought you could take the mason jar home. So he stole the mason jar, brought it home to me. I was like, oh my gosh, Logan, I had Slim Chickens. I'd never had it before. Plus they served my dessert in a mason jar. And instead of throwing it away, I knew that you loved mason jars because you have your sourdough and you can and things. I thought you would want it. I was like, Garrett, if they're serving it in a mason jar, a glass mason jar with a capped lid, I promise you that was not for you to take home. He thought it was to take home. I said, no, it says Slim Chickens engraved on it. How much was your dessert? He's like, $6. Exactly. To take a novelty item home, it has to be at least like $20. Like the state fair freaking lemonade, that's half a lemon in a cup of sugar in a plastic cup. That's like $20. Like you're not going to get a novelty mason jar for $6 with a dessert. Maybe I'm wrong, but he brought that home to me, and now I proudly have a Slim Chickens mason jar in my cabinet, and on the bottom it said number 43. Okay, I said, Garrett, they labeled it. There's no way. They probably counted up. They're going to charge your credit card later. It's going to have another pending charge because you stole the mason jar. But these novelty popcorns, I've seen them for like Dune. When Garrett and I saw Dune, there was like the sandworm or whatever was like the popcorn bucket. Then with Wolverine and Deadpool, there's like the Wolverine bucket. I don't know. Listen, I cannot collect those. I think, where would I even store that in my cabinet, to be honest? Like, I cannot even think about it. But people love this stuff. Okay. I saw a video of this guy. He was like, oh, this is, the Deadpool container. And then his car was filled with like other themed items, where he had like his gear shift was a character, a Marvel character. And listen, I love a theme for you, baby. Like, I love it. If you want to pretend this is a second grade birthday and your entire house is whatever you love. Okay. Love that for you. Cannot do that myself. No. I don't know. I just feel like I'm not going to use the plastic popcorn bucket again. Our popcorn bucket in our home is a stainless steel bowl. It has a lid. I can shake the salt on it. I can pour, caramel, whatever. I'm thinking about this Novelty Wolverine bucket. Popcorn buckets are usually the puke buckets in people's houses. So if you have this Novelty popcorn bucket that you got at, whatever movie theater you went to, you brought it home, and then your 3-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 22-year-old boyfriend gets sick in the night, what are you going to bring him? This Novelty Wolverine bucket, and he's going to vomit right into that guy's mouth. Disgusting. Oh, that is so gross. Not that we puke in the stainless steel bucket, but that's what I'm thinking, right? Like, who wants this Novelty bucket? Usually kids. If you're an adult, that's fine too. Do your thing. I love that for you. I'm not shaming you. Do whatever you want. But I'm like, popcorn buckets are usually the vomit buckets in people's houses. Don't hate me. That's not my opinion. That's everybody else's opinion. Okay. Don't get me wrong. So with the movies though, going to, the movie theater is always so nice. With the Olympics going on, I know they're streaming. Very excited. They're usually streaming in every single restaurant as well. So it's always so fun to like watch the Olympics and see like who's competing. Personally, my favorite is Simone Biles. And Simone, her leg, okay? This girl, was it last Olympics, had the spins. I listened to her podcast and I love Simone Biles. She is so strong, so determined, so amazing. And she hurt her leg and still ended up placing first. Are you kidding me? What a goat. What an icon. Like, she is so powerful and her story is incredible. I just think she is so inspiring and just like a model figure. Okay. I would be happy to look up to her for the rest of my life. Any sort of younger child. I think she is iconic in everything that she does. And with the Olympics, I mean, it's happening in Paris. And one of my friends is in Paris watching the Olympics. And I'm so jealous of her. But also like the Seine River, I feel like for the last, 3 months, I've heard even more than that. But this river has been disgusting, dirty, and honestly, feces filled. I cannot imagine waiting your entire life, training every single day for the Olympics. You qualify, you're ready to go, and you have to do, and I will say it's like the first official outdoor swimming competition in modern history. Like, I'm sure they did it previously, like not prehistorically, whatever. Historically, this in modern history, this is the first time that there's been open water event. You train all of your life. You were so ready for this. And it's in the Seine water. Bacteria filled, dirty. I know that there was some public officials that jumped in and was like, oh, it's fine. No, like, I would be so scared for the safety of your own health. I mean, it's something you've prepared for all of your life. The Olympics only come around every 4 years. You trained so hard. You were ready for this. You've spent time, energy, buckets of money, and your event is now in the water. And you contract some sort of disease, E. coli, whatever, and your career is now wrecked. How irresponsible. I don't know. Who knows? If they say it's good, okay, fine. But is it actually good? Is it actually good? Or were they just like trying? I know they spent $1 billion. I know they spent a lot of money on this to make it ready for the Olympics. Okay. But nothing in my body would want to jump into this river. And those Olympians would have such a mindset of I'm jumping in here no matter what. I have something to prove. I am going to compete to the best of my ability. I'm not going to let this water impact me or make me feel gross, make me feel dirty, because it is dirty. I mean, there was a whole movement of people using the river as a bathroom. Okay. And you see on social media, you cannot, maybe they don't watch any sort of TikTok or Reels or social media because they're too busy training. But it has been constant on social media about this, going to the restroom in this river, and you've worked all of your life to do this thing. And now it is in this open water. That to have such the mental capacity to prepare yourself for that is absolutely insane. But I love the Olympics. The gymnast is my favorite. I love watching the gymnastic routine. I think it's so precise. It's so beautiful. It's all the things. And I'm really proud of Team USA, right? Like Team USA. And it has been really, really fun to stop by all the restaurants, because I've eaten out so much this past week, to see it streaming, and also just stream it at home. Like, I love going to the movies, and I think it should be an event. I think you should categorize it as something special, and you shouldn't necessarily spend every single evening in front of the TV. But I love that we do have access to the Olympics, and we can watch it from the comfort of our home. I can cheer on Team USA, and just like the pure determination and grit that these athletes have, they're competing for their country. They're going out, they're showing up, and they are leaving it all out on whatever field or stadium or event that they have signed up for. Blood, sweat, tears, all of the things. And they're making history, or they're wanting to make history. They're wanting to prove themselves. And that just takes such a different type of person. It's honestly awe-inspiring. I will never be an Olympian, right? Any sort of 200-meter dash, you get me wrong. There ain't no way. I'm not fast, okay? And to be able to watch these people who have perfected their craft, makes me want to think that I could. Makes me want to think that if I had a little bit of training, maybe I could do the 200-meter dash. I could do a 200-meter dash. There's no way that I could get up to their speed, obviously. But I have been watching the Olympics, and I'm cheering on all of my favorite contestants. I personally I think it's fun to rally around. It again, it's like the social atmosphere of having a common goal, a common like cheerful energy of like, yes, like I want them to win, and rooting for them. Nothing like just having such high regard for people, just competing. I love that. Also, did you see when it panned to Simone Biles' husband? It said Simone Biles' husband. And then at the bottom, it said his football title. I just thought that was so funny. Not because like I want to get messy of being like, oh, like you should only be referred to as like your significant other's name. I just thought it was funny. Whoever like was typing that out was like, I'll show him Simone Biles' husband, because there's so much controversy in the media in the past about how he was like, I didn't even know Simone did the Olympics. He was like, I never heard of her before. And that's crazy. It's like saying you never heard of Shawn Johnson. Like, I remember in middle school that Shawn Johnson was like this amazing athlete. Like, there were so many like milk posters with her little milk mustache, and I mean, I slammed the milk just because of her. I was like, yes, like strong energy. But it would be insane. I don't know. If he says he doesn't know and he didn't know her before meeting her, okay, I trust you, whatever. but I just thought it was so funny. Whoever, like, whatever media person was up there typing away, like, Simone Biles' husband. Like, that's just funny. I thought it was funny. So I'm enjoying the Olympics. Wherever you are watching, which one is your favorite? Like, I would love to know, because personally, I've always loved the gymnasts. But if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead, leave me a little comment. Which Olympics are your favorite? Also, tell me if you are getting the novelty popcorn bucket, because I want to know, like, are people just using this on social media, or are they actually like wanting it, right? Because sometimes in your feed, if you watch it too long, then they like push the post to you. They're like, oh, this is good. This is amazing. This person loves this sort of content. Now, when it comes to you, I hope that you love this content. And if you listened this long, I'm going to say that you did love this content, okay? You love listening to me, and I loved talking for you. So please rate, review, subscribe, all of the things. Leave us a 5-star. It helps the podcast more than you know. And if you're listening on the audio version, go watch us on YouTube. Watch me, okay? I'll look at you. You'll look at me. You get to see my cool outfit of the day. It's this thrifted little Chicago t-shirt because I love the Chicago. Yeah, so thank you so much for listening, watching, whatever you're doing. I hope you have a great rest of your week, great day, all the things. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.